Hey yo, what's good everyone? ajsgaming here, and today I'm going to be reviewing and giving my thoughts on the Samsung Q60T. So I've been using this TV for the past 3 months and I definitely have some thoughts about it. So definitely stay tuned for some pros and some cons and just my initial thoughts of the Samsung Q60T. If you enjoy the video, make sure you smash that like button down below, and a sub to the channel will be much appreciated. Be a part of the AJS family today, you guys. Alright, let's review the Samsung Q60T. So first off, I'm reviewing the 55-inch model of the Samsung Q60T. It's an entry-level TV for Samsung, so it's a good way to get into QLED and HDR+ without having to break the bank. It's a 4K QLED display with HDR10+, and supports a frame rate of 60 Hz. I wish this TV supported 120 Hz like the Sony X900H does, but that's a different type of TV for a different type of consumer. So if you haven't seen my review on the Sony X900H, I'll leave a link for you guys down in the description so you can check it out. The Samsung Q60T has a very thin border around the display, which is really good because it showcases the amazing quality of the picture. The overall design of the Samsung Q60T is pretty good to say the least. It's made of a brushed curved plastic, which is also very thin in design. The Q60T has a decent selection of I/O ports. It comes with 3 HDMI ports, one of them being ARC, an optical port, an Ethernet port, and 2 USB ports. The legs of the Q60T are pretty sturdy. They just insert on the designated sections of each side of the TV. Just make sure that you have a wide enough TV stand to fit it because it is pretty wide. Now on to the actual quality of the display. It's pretty good to say the least, and it gets plenty bright, especially with the built-in HDR10+. The only thing is that the viewing angles aren't the greatest, so if you watch the TV at an off angle, the picture isn't exactly the clearest, just based on the display. So I personally didn't notice a difference between QLED and LED, but that's just my personal opinion. Both type of displays offer a great viewing experience. They're just both similar. So my girlfriend and I have been putting the Samsung Q60T to the test. We've been watching a lot of YouTube and a lot of Netflix on the display, and it's safe to say that the display held up. There's also a bunch of settings that you can tweak to get the display to your liking if you don't like the initial settings that came with the TV. So the user interface of the Samsung Q60T is pretty good to say the least. It runs Samsung's Tizen OS, and it's very minimalistic to say the least. It took me a little bit of time to get used to, but once you spend some time with Tizen OS, it's actually very easy to navigate. There's a lot of interesting decisions that Samsung went with here. So whenever you press the home button, there's a bar that comes down on the bottom of whatever you're doing, whatever you're watching movies or TV or on YouTube. And it's pretty convenient, so it doesn't disrupt any of your content, and you can pick your apps and your content within that bar. Personally, I'm pretty old-fashioned. I like when I press the home button that it actually goes to a home screen. With Tizen, it just comes up within your content, which is super convenient, but personally, I'm just old-fashioned and I like a home screen. The overall interface is pretty snappy. I haven't really had any bugs or hiccups within the actual user interface, but I'll let you guys know if that changes at all. I absolutely love the idea of Samsung TV. It's a good way to get TV on your display without having a cable box or anything external hooked up to the TV. All you need is a Wi-Fi connection and you can start watching some of your favorite shows directly on the display. I tend to watch a lot of Deal or No Deal. It's a whole channel that's directly on the TV, so that's a really good plus because I really like that show. The remote is very compact in size. It's curved on the bottoms, which makes it very comfortable to hold, especially for a long period of time if you're flicking through channels. Speaking of flicking through channels, instead of actually having buttons on the actual display to change your channels and to raise the volume, you actually have these flick sliders. I don't know really what else to call them, so I'm going to call them flick sliders on the actual remote that are used to actually raise the volume and change the channel. It's actually pretty nice. The remote has 3 shortcut buttons, and I'm a very big fan of useful shortcut buttons. It comes with Netflix, Prime Video, and Samsung TV. The remote has a voice assistant button directly on the top of it, like every other remote for a smart TV should. The only thing is that you actually have to set up the voice assistant within the settings to first get it to work, which is the only downfall. But at least that you get to choose between 3 different type of voice assistants. You have a choice of Bixby, of Google, or of Alexa. The one annoyance I have with the remote is the lack of a source button. Like every single TV, even the tube TVs that came out 20 years ago, at least have a source button that you can change your actual inputs on the TV. It's pretty sad that Samsung didn't include this, that you actually have to go into Samsung's user interface and go all the way to the left and select the source that you want, instead of just hitting the button and choosing the source. I personally change sources all the time. I change between my PS5 and my Android box and my Nintendo Switch, so I'm constantly changing sources, and it'd be pretty inconvenient to change the sources within the user interface. Overall, I like this remote and I enjoyed using it. I just really wish it really had that source button. That was the only problem I had with the remote, but everything else was a plus. The sound quality of the Samsung Q60T is pretty good to say the least. Even at lower levels, I felt like that the TV gave more than enough sound for my liking. You can also go into the settings to change the sound quality to whatever it is that you want, and also change it to whatever output that you want. It's pretty useful. I'll be showing you guys a quick sound test of the Samsung Q60T. Let me know in the comments what you think of the sound, and like of any pointing a shoot camera to any speaker, it's not going to sound as good on the camera, but it'll be pretty close from what I heard. So here we go. The Samsung Q60T comes with your standard smart features that every other smart display should have. It comes with your standard Apple AirPlay, screen mirroring, Bluetooth, all that good stuff. The one thing that it has that no other display has is called Ambient mode. And it's a button that's located on the top right hand side of the remote to let your display become ambient. So ambient mode is a way to customize your display with wallpapers and certain information while your display is not in use. It's a pretty fun way to customize your display, to give it a little spunk, or just tweak it to however you like it. Even with your backgrounds, you can actually tweak your backgrounds with contrast and brightness to just get your background to however you like it. It's a neat way to add some personality to your display while you're not using it. So you know I gotta talk about gaming when I do a TV review. I did a bit of gaming on the Samsung Q60T, and to say the least, it was pretty decent. It's not my favorite gaming TV that I've ever seen, but it did the job pretty well. It has a dedicated gaming mode, which significantly reduces input lag, and I did tend to notice it when it came to running through Hades, which that game requires a lot of quick thinking and a lot of quick movements, so I did notice that. If you have a PS5 or Xbox Series X, the TV is good for that. I would just recommend to go with a TV that supports 120 Hz because you're missing out on that full 120 Hz aspect, as the Samsung Q60T only runs 60 Hz. So it is a good TV for your casual gamer, but if you're a hardcore gamer, you're gonna look for more from your display. Overall, the Samsung Q60T is a fine display. If you're looking to get into the world of QLED and HDR but not break the bank, I would definitely recommend to pick up a Samsung Q60T. There's a variety of ways to fine-tune and just overall tweak the display to your liking, and not even just the display. Pretty much anything you can think of on the TV, you can tweak it. It's really up to your imagination. The display is really good and really bright. The only problem with the display is the viewing angles, as I mentioned. So if you don't mind the viewing angles, and if you're just going to be viewing the TV at a front view, then it won't be a problem. I would personally rate the Samsung Q60T a 4 out of 5 flames. And that's pretty hot. What do you guys think about the Samsung Q60T? Are you thinking about picking one up? Do you guys already have one? Let me know down in the comments your opinion and your thoughts on the Samsung Q60T, because I'd be more than happy to hear them. Let me know how you guys like the content by smashing that like button. And if you're new, give us up to the channel. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.